God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Mike Golic.
God bless football, Taylor.
God bless football, Stugotz.
Oh, Taylor's in heaven. Just you saying his name, him talking to a guy he listened to growing up. He has Mike Francesa's number now. I don't know what to do with it. He's a big Francesa fan. I gave him the number, Golic, and I'm nervous about it.
Wow. Yeah, you got to be careful of that. All of a sudden, texting out of the blue.
Yeah, I don't want to abuse my power.
Right.
Yeah,
it's why Golic doesn't give me Marcus Freeman's number. He knows.
Oh, my God. No, that will never go to you from me.
I'd be like, hey, Mike gave it to me.
What would Marcus Freeman have to do for you to punish him by giving Stu his number?
Yeah, that would take a lot, quite honestly. I don't know if he could reach that level.
Golic, you're coming from the game of the year. It's week 1. We already had the game of the year. What a game. Buffalo and Baltimore, huh?
I mean, myself and Ryan Radke, we might as well mail it in for the rest of the year because we'll never get another Sunday night game or playoff game like that. Right. That was unbelievable for a game we thought was over. It's amazing when Baltimore went up 40-25, they actually, the rookie, Tyler Luke, missed the extra point.
Yeah. The
rookie from Arizona, and you thought, oh, well, he missed it. They're still up 15. But that turned out to be an important miss of one of a number of big plays in the game, because if he made that obviously game-winning field goal by Buffalo would have been a game-tying field goal by Buffalo, and then who knows what would have happened going into overtime. But a lot of moving parts in that game for sure.
Mike, what'd you make of John Harbaugh's decision to punt the football on that final drive, trying to put the game away? He goes for it all the time on 4th down, Harbaugh, and he doesn't do it in that spot with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and you're handing the ball back to another quarterback who's just getting hot.
Yeah, so the situation was 1:33 on the clock. The Baltimore had the ball on their own 38-yard line. It was 4th and 2 or 3, something like that. I mean, obviously the downside, you miss it. They're already in field goal range for the win. You make it. You obviously have them burn all their timeouts and hopefully be able to run the clock out. Or you punt it away and make them work down the field. Now, at that point, a lot of times you go by your gut. And your gut at that point, the defense hadn't been holding Josh Allen. And again, I don't understand offensively and defensively the play calls that were on for Baltimore. They play well in the first 3 quarters, and then they back off of the defense and give Josh Allen targets to throw to in the 4th quarter. Offensively, they try and just jam the – I know Derrick Henry's a great runner, but when you got 8 in the box like Buffalo did, it's like trying to put a nail through a metal wall. You're not going to get anything. And then they try to jet sweep with Zay Flowers when the sideline is your enemy. So a jet sweep is meant to go wide outside, and a lot of times you end up being tackled out of bounds. Well, they couldn't get tackled out of bounds. They had to keep the clock running, so Zay Flowers has to slide to not go out of bounds. I didn't like that play call. Going back to your original question, that's it, quite honestly, it's a tough call. I know the algorithms say go for it,
right?
But I kind of get punting it away and making Buffalo work to get the field goal instead of possibly putting them right in field goal range. But man, I mean, you have so many weapons on offense to get 2 yards. That was a tough one.
On a 4th and 2, if I had to choose like top 5 guys all time to go get me 2 yards, the Ravens have 2 of them on their roster. I mean,
yeah, but you have to look at the last 3 drives for Baltimore.
Yeah.
3 plays, 6 yards, ate up 2 minutes. 2 plays in the Derrick Henry fumble. 3 plays, 7 yards, ate up 32 seconds because Buffalo used all their timeouts. I mean, they went into a shell. So now if they could have got out of that shell on a 4th and 2 and had a play that gave Lamar Jackson options and not just hand the ball off, yeah. But they were kind of in a shell offense. I was really surprised with both the offense and defensive calls when they had that big lead.
Mike, through the first 3 quarters, you were thinking what everyone else was thinking, right? Baltimore's the best. They still might be, but you were thinking, wow, this is far and away the best team in the NFL.
Well, it was like week 4 last year when Baltimore played Buffalo and beat them 35-10, ran for 271 yards. Derrick Henry ran for 199. That's how the game started out. You thought that Baltimore was just going to bludgeon them. But then they kept giving Josh Allen a chance.
Right.
And the defense played back, gave him mid to longer passes, and Josh Allen was hitting them. The offense, like I said, kind of went into a shell, and all of a sudden Josh Allen had more opportunities than you want to give a Josh Allen. He made the most of them.
Mike, we spend all offseason so starved for football that when we finally get week 1, we take that as this is what it is now, and we overreact. But am I crazy to think the Lions look absolutely lost without their 2 coordinators that they lost? Because, I mean, that was a dismantling by the Green Bay Packers of the Lions.
Yes, there's questioning, because you go back a couple of years when the Eagles lost Gannon and Steichen in the same year, and that next year they did not do as well. Players are still the ones playing on the field. They still have a lot of offensive weapons, but boy, Sonic and Knuckles, the 2 running backs, gained between the 2 of them, I think, 46 yards. You got to give a lot of credit to that Green Bay defense since Jeff Hafley took over. Last year, that defense has really picked up. Micah Parsons certainly added to it with a sack and maybe more importantly, 3 pressures, which helps the secondary a lot. I had picked Green Bay to win this division this year, partly because that Detroit was replacing 2 coordinators, but you still have to look at the players not executing on the field.
Going to the Lions, someone sent me this the other day, and it blew my mind when I saw it. Jared Goff is 0-19-1 without Ben Johnson or Sean McVay calling plays for him. Is he just the ultimate system quarterback and he kind of lost his system?
Wow. I mean, John Morton is basically running. Again, Morton wasn't with him last year, but was with, Ben Johnson in Detroit a couple of years before that. So He knows the system. A lot of it is the chess match of the certain types of plays to call. They still have the same talent on the field. You have to give Ben Johnson credit, obviously, because it's an important role, but I'd be careful to go how too much credit when you still have basically the same system, basically the same guys. A bigger difference to me for Detroit is that offensive line. Right. Between retirement and players leaving, that offensive line was one of the best. Now it's not.
Mike, just going back to Derrick Henry for a second, was there a guy when you were playing where if he was running at you and you had to tackle that guy, you were like, oh, man, this fucking guy again. I don't want to tackle him, like Earl Campbell? So here's the biggest thing is as a D lineman, you don't really worry about that because they're not up to full speed when they get to the D line. Right. Yes.
It's the linebackers and most notably the secondary that have to make a business decision when they see Derrick Henry, running down on them. Right. As a lineman, we're bigger than him. We're bigger than any running back. And like I said, they're not at full speed. They're either hitting the hole directly or kind of juking to hit a hole, so you don't really get the full impact. As far as a guy kind of that size, Christian Okoye.
Oh God,
was, the Nigerian Nightmare.
Yes,
he had those big shoulder pads as well. He was a big man, but again, when he got to the first line of defense, the D line, he wasn't at full speed, and we were bigger than him. But still, that dude dropped the shoulder pretty well.
Mike, do you think the biggest loser this weekend was the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, just because of the expectation. Right. Now, nobody thought they would win the division, but could they be a wild card team?
They were the talk of the NFL 2 years ago,
yeah,
Mike.
They were, and the talk was Tua's got to be healthy. And, well, Tua was healthy this game through 2 interceptions. He seemed to get flustered when his first choice was taken away from him and had to hold the ball. He always carried the ball out away from his body, so him having a fumble wasn't something shocking. Quite honestly, the surprising thing to me was the defense. Anthony Weaver, who went over from Baltimore to take over that defense last year, he runs a nice defense. Now, a couple of years ago, they lost both their edge rushers in Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, but they've gotten them back, and I thought that defense had played pretty well last year. Even after they lost Tua, they were relying on the defense. The defensive side surprised me, giving up 33, and offensive certainly. Tyreek Hill already, kind of spouting off on the bench. Mike McDaniel, 1 week in, is going to find himself on the hot seat, depending on what direction this team goes.
I know you guys are trying to get away from the Buffalo game. I am stuck in Buffalo. I'm still there. I'm stuck on the Buffalo game. What'd you make of those phony fans leaving early? Like me and Mikey A, okay? We've been waiting for a quarterback like Josh Allen for our team forever, my entire life. You have that guy who has mounted so many big comebacks and played in so many big games. Why would you leave early and risk missing that great ending?
Because the other quarterback is a great quarterback as well, and the other team has, on paper, a better roster. Now, again, that's why you don't play the games on paper. Right. And it was a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. Yeah. So, I mean, people trying to get an early jump, knowing they have to go to work.
Listen, I say this as a guy who left Game 6 of the NBA Finals, the Ray Allen shot. I missed it. Okay?
I mean, it was
Buffalo.
Hell in the booth. We were like, boy, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one for Buffalo. But then, again, as I talked about, watching the way the Baltimore defense was playing and the offense was playing, and Josh Allen getting opportunity after opportunity was, I'm sure those people that left were pretty bummed that they left. But 15-point lead in the fourth quarter against Baltimore, you could kind of see it.
Wait, what you're saying here is if you weren't being paid to do that game, that you would have left as well, right?
Well, if I were watching it on TV, I probably would have turned. I probably would have been previous channel. I'd have watched something else. We'll come back to it to see what was going on.
Yes. I went to sleep thinking Josh Allen was a choker and woke up and it was Lamar who was choking. Yes. On the NFL, it's back, Mike.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm calling him one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, a choker.
How surprised were you with the Giants actually came into the season with a little bit of like, got a really good D-line. Yeah. You got Jackson Dart waiting in the wings to see how Russell Wilson does. There was just a hint, I thought, of optimism with the Giants, and boy, that went away quick.
Yeah, I was more like I thought. So you're right. There was some optimism there. I didn't think Washington played that well as either, considering they were a team that went to the NFC Championship game last year. But I think that's a good loss for the Giants, Mike, because the more you win, especially early on, the more likely you are to play Russell Wilson at quarterback. And if you lose a few games here, you can see if you have something in Jackson Dart, right?
Yeah. It's depending on the season. It's just a matter of time for Jackson Dart. And Washington, I agree offensively. Deebo Samuel came out of the gate and played really well for him. Right. McLaurin had only 2 catches, which is understandable. He didn't really practice in camp at all. But I thought the D-line, which added a couple players in the offense for Washington, played really, really well.
I have to find a way to convey this on the poll in the language, but did the Giants come into the season with, I like that question.
Yes. Yeah. Put it on there. Just put it on like that.
Yeah.
Did the Giants enter this season with some,
There was a little more kind of under the radar, quiet optimism for, hey,
I agree.
Maybe they'll be a little better than we think. And well, not so much.
Yes. Do you now realize why we're frustrated as Jet fans? Like Mike, since we saw the game on the schedule, me and Mikey A told you exactly how that game would play out, and it played out exactly the way we told you. He strolled in, 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. That's the game. We've been waiting to see Aaron Rodgers play in that stadium, on that field. He finally did it, and did it in a Steelers jersey.
Well, I mean, listen, he's 2 years removed from the Achilles. Obviously, the first year with the Jets, 4 plays. Second year, he's coming back off an Achilles at 40 years old. I felt he was going to play better this year. I was surprised in this game. The best part of both these teams is their defense. Yes. And the final score was 34-32. So, I mean, the Pittsburgh defense needs to play better for sure. Again, it's week 1. But now what's not sustainable is Aaron Rodgers getting sacked 4 times a game. Right. That's not sustainable. That's an injury waiting to happen. Right. So that O-line still a little bit shaky. And 4 touchdowns. One is when wide receiver comes underneath the quarterback and the quarterback just flips it to him. That shouldn't even count as a forward pass and a passing touchdown. But I know it does, and it pads the quarterback stats.
Mikey, I'm trying to gauge where we're at with Golic in terms of our relationship. Do you think Golic was thinking of us at all as Boswell was kicking a fucking 60-yard field goal? I mean,
I don't think Mike thinks about us a little bit. Maybe Billy every once in a while.
You know, when I think about you guys, when I'm trying to get on to the Zoom,
right,
and then when I click off, I forget you guys' names.
Really? Okay, so there's never you never just watch a Jet game and go, oh, poor Stugotz, poor Mikey Yang.
I actually think of all Jet fans, and you know when no, I'm kidding. I think of you guys, as far as you know. Listen, Chris Boswell though, but let's be honest, kickers knock 50-yarders out like they're nothing, and this one was from 60 and cleared it with ease.
Yeah,
I'm amazed at the kickers in the league now and their distance.
Right. If they're playing any other team, he misses that field goal, Mike. That's the point. He's never kicked a 60-yarder. He'll never kick another one again. But against the Jets on that day for Aaron Rodgers, that thing goes right through the uprights. I mean,
and you knew it. You knew it was going to happen as a Jet fan, right?
Yeah. Yes. I knew it for months. Go ahead, Mikey.
Moving on to less painful topics. Monday Night Football. Could that game have gone any better for the Vikings and JJ McCarthy, where they kind of got punched in the mouth to start, and then they saw that their quarterback was good enough to not only bring them back and win, but to do it with some passion, with some skill?
You know, it's interesting, that game. You look at JJ McCarthy didn't play it down last year, and Caleb Williams played the whole season. It was up and down, but only had 6 interceptions, which is really good for a rookie. And I almost feel like JJ McCarthy was better prepared, because JJ McCarthy had the same coach and just sat last year and watched the system and learned the system, didn't really get to practice much, but was part of one system. Caleb Williams has been part of, in his second year, he's on his 3rd head coach and his 4th coordinator. Mm-hmm. I mean, and they're trying to undo all the damage that was done to him last year, which he reverted to a little bit in the second half. Great game call by Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator. Really just had a 4-man rush in the first half, and that's when Caleb Williams did well, completed his first 10. But then I think went 11 of 25 after that. And I think he blitzed 1 time in the first half and blitzed 14 times in the second half. And he put pressure on Caleb Williams, and Caleb reverted back, escaping, loud feet, kind of moving around too much, inaccurate. He was 44% off target in the second half, 29% off target for the game, which was the worst of all starting quarterbacks in week 1. So he started off great, right? 10 of 10, zipping the ball down, not a lot of pressure on him. And that changed in the second half. And I think the last pass that JJ McCarthy threw before halftime, when they kicked that field goal, when they got that field goal, right, he uncorked one. And I talked to Justin Jefferson last week about JJ McCarthy, the difference of he and Sam Darnold. And Justin Jefferson said, JJ McCarthy's fastball is top notch. He can absolutely rifle it. He rifled that one before half. And I think that built his confidence going into halftime, where Kevin O'Connell looked him square in the eye at halftime and said, you're going to bring us back and win this game. He threw a dart to Justin Jefferson on the touchdown pass, had a nice touch to the running back on the wheel route for a touchdown, and then ran for a touchdown. 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I think his confidence just built. They got a running game. Jordan Mason ran really well in the second half. So I think it was really kind of a tale of two halves.
Mike, unfortunately for you, I know you have to run here. We appreciate the time as always. Check him out, Golic and Golic, FanDuel Sports Network, every afternoon. But unfortunately for you, you'll have to see us again this week, because I just got confirmation that Mike Elko would like to come on with Mike Golic before Texas A&M and Notre Dame. How about that?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's going to be a good game.
Yes.
Man, I love Elko. I think he's a great guy, great coach.
We did it last year. He wants to come on again.
So, I was going to say, don't we usually have him on after they win?
Well, I was going to say, too, Notre Dame won that game. I'm surprised he'd want to come on, right?
No, but he has to come on before if he loses, he's not going to come on. So we got him on before the game.
Right? Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
And if you want to give me Marcus's number, I'll have them both on together. That'd be fun, huh? What do you think?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. No worries there.
Right.
Yeah, Good effort.
Right.
Good. You keep trying.
Yep.
I'll just
listen. I am
denying.
so proud of you. It's week 1. You put fucking a coach on a hot seat, Mike McDaniel. I am so proud of you. Yeah.
That team seemed dysfunctional.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't it?
Yes. You see the Tyreek Hill news?
Oh no! What happened there?
Okay. Yeah. Well, hold on. Now we have to talk about it. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Tyreek Hill. Schefter was just on with us. Tyreek Hill accused of domestic violence. This is going back from his ex-wife, by the way, Mike. No telling if there's going to be charges pressed or what's going on here. Really, there's no news other than this was in a divorce filing. Some of these encounters. So we'll see what happens. But Izzy was asking an interesting question. When stuff like that happens to someone in your own locker room, does it divide the locker room at all, Mike?
You know, you like to keep it to just business in the locker room, but you're in the locker room with your teammates more than you are with your family. So you kind of let people handle their contract on their own and handle their personal business on their own. But everybody has feelings about domestic violence. I mean, come on.
Right. Of course.
Who wouldn't? But like I've always said, remember, a locker room isn't 53 guys all holding hands and singing Kumbaya. I mean, there are guys that I played with who didn't like me and I didn't like them. But on the field, you put all that aside and you play within the system for the game. You know, it's great if a locker room is cohesive, but it's not like you can't win if somebody doesn't like Tyreek Hill or Tyreek Hill doesn't like someone or some player doesn't like someone. That shouldn't affect them on the field.
Yep. Athletes, they're very narrow-minded. Is he helping me win football games? I don't care what he does in his own time, right?
They're an inch deep and a mile wide, and I say that as a guy who is still an inch deep and a mile wide. But listen, domestic violence, that's nothing to mess with. It's horrific stuff.
No, and listen, there's enough things here with Tyreek Hill where you start to worry about Tyreek Hill a little bit.
Sure do.
Yep.
Sure do.
All right, Mike, we appreciate the time as always. Golic and Golic, FanDuel Sports Network. Check them out right there. And check them out later this week with Mike Elko and possibly Marcus Freeman.
Yeah. Good effort, man.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, see you.